What's cooking, good looking? I'm back. I hope you guys have been well. I have my tea with me this morning and I'm super excited for this. This one's gonna actually be somewhat short, but I also feel like very, very, very important. So let's jump right in. This week's topic is gonna be closure. Something that we have all struggled with, something that we all have thought we needed and depended on others to give us, whether it be closure because a relationship didn't end the way we wanted it to, or a friend walked out in our life, a parent, a job we didn't get, an education we didn't achieve. Anything that happens really that almost seems like it doesn't make sense or you don't truly accept the outcome, we always seek closure. What exactly is closure? So the word itself contains the term closed, right? Or like close, which means you need a thing, an answer to be able to close that chapter in your life, to be able to move past that job that you didn't get, to be able to move past that significant other that left you, to be able to move and make peace with that parent that did something or whatever, even a friend, you know. So we as humans don't like to just let things be. We like endings. So if you're reading a book or if you're watching a movie and there's like a cliffhanger ending, you hate that. I hate that. It makes me wanting more, and that's how they keep you getting more books and like buying into their product. But when it comes to our personal life, we don't. It's not a trade. It's not a transaction. So we need something to end that chapter, kind of put a little bow on top, and then we just set it in the corner. But oftentimes we don't get that, and the reason we don't get that is because we often look to others to seek that closure, when in reality, closure will only come from one person, and that is within yourself. Your closure to the situation is going to be completely different than anybody else who either was put in your shoes or the other side of the party that is experiencing the same thing. How is it that we seek closure in other people when it's only in ourselves? Or why is it that we seek closure in other people when it's only in ourselves? Simple. The reason is we don't want it to end. And we know deep down that if we keep seeking for answers elsewhere, we're never gonna get an answer. We're never gonna get that closure. And that doesn't allow us to tie that chapter up and put it in a cute little bow and just put it to the side. That keeps us invested, whether it be a thought, whether it be an action, whether it be a present. That keeps us invested in that situation. As long as we keep seeking closure from others, we're never gonna move past it. How is it that you get to seek closure within yourself when it's the other party that hurt you, when it's the other person, when it's not you that was responsible for the action, but the other person, as we all claim it is? Simple. There's 3 easy steps that I love to go by. The first thing is identify what exactly you need closure from, because oftentimes we take it as a whole situation, but there's one thing only that you just can't let go of. So, for example, in a job interview, you made it all the way to the top. They loved you and they were so excited, and you walked out feeling like you were gonna nail it, and they might as well have offered you the stuff right then and there. But you don't get the job. Was the closure the fact that you didn't get the job, or was the closure or you need closure for the fact that they loved you? Now, how come you didn't get the job? Or with the friend that walked out on your life, or a significant other that walked out on your life, you gave them so much and you invested so much of your time, but that's not what you need closure for. You need closure to understand why in a sudden change of heart they walked out on you? Why in a sudden change of heart they saw you as no longer valuable to them, right? So you need to really hone in and focus on what exactly from the situation you feel the need to get closure from. The second thing is you need to identify all of the actions that were taken during that instant that you need closure from. And when I say that, I don't mean just the other person, because we're so good at throwing blame on somebody else. Oh, they walked away. They didn't appreciate. They didn't do this. But in this situation, I actually want you to use I statements. So even if it's I did this, look at what you did for that person, but also please be mindful and notice what is it that you didn't do for that person, or what is it that you did wrong. This is where you really need to get honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, you're never going to get closure. If you keep seeing yourself as this perfect human and they just hurt you, I guarantee you, no matter how perfect you may think you were, there was something you did wrong. And that something could have very well been you stayed in a situation that was toxic for you. And in that situation, it's not necessarily that you harmed the other person, but you harmed yourself by making that decision. So the second step is you really need to use I statements to identify the actions that were made on your end during that specific phase that you need closure from. And then the third thing, this one I think is actually the most challenging, yet it seems the simplest. You need to understand that closure is a concept. It's not an actual thing. And therefore, if you yourself truly want closure, you're gonna get it. If you go through steps 1 and 2 and then get to the third one and somehow you're still hung up and you're still holding on to that situation, you're never gonna get this closure you want. So for this third step, you need to really convince yourself and ask yourself, are you ready to put this aside? And if you're not ready, why is it you're not ready? What is it that you're holding on to? You really need to identify why you don't want to let go, why you don't want the closure. Because I guarantee you, a conversation with that person is not going to give you closure. Even if they give you all the answers you have rehearsed in your head and you want them to give you. Even if they say, I'm so sorry and I did you wrong, you're still not going to get closure. There's still going to be anger inside you. There's still going to be resentment inside you. And you're not going to be able to let that go until you yourself make peace with the situation and make the conscious decision. I can't speak, but unless you make the conscious decision that not only is it healthy for you to let go, but you are ready to let go. And by letting go, here comes the big F word, forgiveness. That is the biggest key to closure. That is the golden key to closure. Forgiveness. And that's why I think the third step is the hardest thing, because once you're ready for closure to come to you, once you're ready to accept that you're in charge of that, and once you're ready to say, hey, I'm gonna grab my own closure and I'm gonna end this and move past it and become a healthier individual, you can't move past it unless you forgive. And that involves forgiving the other person. That involves forgiving yourself. That also involves learning. With forgiveness comes learning. So what is it that person did, and what were the cues, so that whenever I'm put in that situation again, I identify those cues early on? Because I guarantee you, this flip switch always has foreshadowing. Always. Hands down, I've never in my life seen it where somebody just picked up and left. I've never seen it. There's always been very subtle cues. Some are much harder to identify than others, but there's always subtle cues. So you need to sit with yourself and you need to identify them, but also you need to forgive that person because they did what was best for them. Whether you think it's right or wrong, whether somebody else in their life thinks it's right or wrong, that doesn't matter. They did what's best for them. And if you were in their shoes, you would want to do what was best for you. So when you're ready for closure, you must forgive, and forgive yourself for allowing yourself to stay in a toxic situation. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made, but also learn from the mistakes you've made. Forgive yourself for the anger, for the anxiety, for the resentment, for the hatred, for any unsettling emotions you have had towards that situation, towards yourself, and towards that person. When you forgive yourself, the whole world changes. I promise. And people say it's so hard to forgive others, but I guarantee you the hardest thing to do is to forgive yourself. So if you focus on forgiving yourself, and if you truly have forgiven yourself, you'll find that without any effort, you've also forgiven the other party in that situation. Give it a try. Take a chance on yourself. If you're going to invest all this time and all this energy on a situation or on a person, might as well make it beneficial for yourself. You're already thinking about it. You're already hurting from it. Now take that hurt and make it constructive. It's very simple in theory, but in action it takes a lot of work. And my one thing is, don't rush it. As a very impatient person myself, don't rush it. Do not rush. Let it play its course. Let it take its time. I'll give you a perfect example. I went through a situation back in March where I was devastated. And then I was like, you know what? I'm done feeling sorry for myself. I'm gonna move past it. I gotta say, I convinced myself I was over this situation within a month of what had happened. And I was like, nope, it's cool. Actually, probably like 3 weeks. I was like, no, it's cool. I'm good, whatever. Till this day, a lot of the stuff from the situation has started to surface up and linger because I rushed the closure process. I rushed my making peace with that situation. And now I'll be sitting and I have a perfect opportunity to move on and find something better. But then I self-sabotage and I self-destruct because I did not allow myself enough time to begin with, because I was so rush. Please don't rush it. Don't rush it. Don't rush. Did you get that? Don't rush. Oh, don't rush it. Do not rush it. Just take your time. Let it play its course. I know sometimes it's painful, but it's so much better to take an antibiotic dose for the full 7 days than it is to take it for 3 days, get sick again, and then have to redo it all again. So just take your time, however long it may need. And the time you need to get over a situation is not the same time that somebody else needs to get over that same situation. And the time you need to get over from one situation to the other is also not going to be the same. So be kind to yourself, be forgiving to yourself. Focus on all of the stuff that you are doing properly. And if you don't feel like you're able to do this, check out my video. I did an Instagram live a couple of days ago, and it's still on my Instagram. It's on my story and like on my page. It's called Set Up for Failure, and it talks about how we set ourselves up for failure. And when it comes to closure, it's honestly the same thing. So go ahead and watch that and see if you can apply the steps I discussed there to giving yourself closure, because we all deserve closure. And I guarantee you the other party that was involved in this situation probably doesn't even remember your name, and if they do, they just don't care. So do yourself the favor, love yourself, respect yourself enough to give yourself the peace you deserve. And trust me, life just becomes so much better when you learn that you have the power over anything and everything in your life when it comes to making peace, when it comes to forgiveness. That's all within you. Here's my challenge for this week. Identify something that you want to make closure with. And I want you to follow the 3 steps that I had discussed earlier in the video. And really spend 5 minutes a day. Then spend 7 minutes a day. No more than that. Really identifying these things. Don't let it consume your mind. It already is, and I know it is. So use 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever you're able to give, to constructively think about that situation. Apply those 3 steps and see what progress you make within a week. And if it works, come back and let me know. And if it works, keep doing it. And see how much better that feels. And I really want to hear back from you guys, because the stories I know are the stories of my friends that have made use this. But I really want to hear what you guys have to say. And until next week. And in case nobody has told you, you are beautiful, you are capable, and please forgive yourself, because you are deserving of all the love and forgiveness this world has to offer, but you'll never accept it unless it starts from within yourself.